This is ION Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China. And we're back for the second half of the show, and in studio we have Christopher LAU from People Power. You're the treasurer?
Yes, I'm the treasurer and the former chairman.
And former chairman.
If one want to mention that.
Of People Power.
Yeah, hello.
And he was our first guest on the audio podcast. So we thought, why not get him on as our first guest on the video podcast, right?
Right.
Well, this is wonderful. I'm the first in everything.
Yes.
in your program.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so, we'll ask the obvious question. Your thoughts on the clearance of Mongkok?
Right. Yeah. Well, this is something we have anticipated for a few weeks already.
Sure.
And it seems to be the clearance on the first day, only the clearance on the Argyle Street was more difficult than the government expected. But on the next day, the clearance of the Nathan Road part was quite easy comparatively. But so
wait, you Nathan Road was easier, you thought?
Yeah, I thought the
Nathan Road was actually easy. Okay, well. It happened. The whole thing, the clearance spent for 2 days. The first day was mainly the Argyle Street. Actually, the bailiff said they would only clear the Argyle Street part first. But then when they cleared the Argyle Street, then the whole night there was a fight in Portland Street.
Right,
for a whole night.
Right.
But then on the next day in the morning, they started to clear Nathan Road. Basically they declared everything in the morning.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes. So and actually after the first day we expect they only for a short part of Argyle Street, then you have to clear for a whole day. Then probably Nathan Road it would be very difficult. But turned out it was much easier. Yeah. So it is the observation
because what we said in the first half was that overall the clearance of the first day was not so bad because all they did was they mentioned what they were going to do. People asked them questions. They were answered. They moved back. They cleared it.
Yeah.
But then people moved into Portland Street. That was a whole different thing. But the actual clearance wasn't so bad. The next day it started to get a little testy with the police.
That's true. But then this is the speed of the clearance. Yeah. But then going back to the I think the bailiff and actually even the police didn't follow the court order. That religiously, I would say, because my understanding of the injunction, of the revised procedures of the injunction is that actually the bailiff has to make sure that everyone who was opposing the clearance have to be announced of the injunction clearly, and also they have to find their own ways to do the clearance instead of asking the police to clear it. But at the end of the day, it seems to me actually nobody remembered the injunction after the 2 days.
Basically,
everybody viewed it as a clearance.
Right.
So I don't know why the fuss of the injunction, because the police could have cleared it like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month ago.
So too.
And at the end of the day, the political message of the whole Mongkok fiasco is that it is still a clearance. It has nothing to do with the injunction. There was a due process applied by a private company. So after all that, I don't know what the fuss about injunction, because you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. And the funny part is that when CY Leung was asked in South Korea, that's where he is right now, about the clearance of Mongkok, he said, well, if the protesters didn't illegally gather, or if they had cleared themselves, we wouldn't need the injunctions to clear clear out Mongkok.
Yes, this is kind of a slip of tongue.
Yeah.
Actually, they
I found that very interesting. That I thought it was the private company that did it. What do you mean we?
Yes, the we thing is very horrible.
So,
but at the end of the day, the whole injunction is useless, because after all, the reporting. not only in Hong Kong, but the general reporting of the whole clearance in the international news is a clearance by the government.
Right.
And everybody sees it as a clearance because the protesters are illegally obstructing the roads.
Right.
So I don't understand the whole thing.
I actually think that the reason why they have the civil injunction was that they want to make the protesters look really bad. They are ruining the rule of law in Hong Kong because they don't follow the court order now, and then the dignity of the court now got damaged by that. That's one of the impacts, I'd say.
Yes, but it was the whole discussion before the clearance. But and I would have thought that actually they hoped that after the clearance they could still continue the message that okay, we are following the injunction from the issue from the court, and we're doing it doing an order from the court, so we're not clearing it, so to speak.
Right.
But no, but at the end of the day, it's a clearance, and actually the police raise all the red flags, orange flags, all sort of stuff, and actually they warned after in Portland Street and also in the part on Sion Choi Street. Actually, they are asking the protesters to leave because they are having an unlawful assembly. So I don't understand at all, because everything actually went back to the original. I mean the protesters obstructing the roads, and the police or the government could clear it anyway.
Right.
So you have you lost your
It
microphone?
seems I've lost my microphone. Let me just put it back there. All right.
So what do you think about the people now doing there? They keep shopping.
Oh, I think this is wonderful. Actually, actually, I have to say it in this program. Actually, I should say we invented it.
I think
you remember that actually?
Yeah.
We did that on the 1st of January this year. Actually, we organized this kind of wandering around tactics in Central.
Right.
We drop our coins in the roads, and we pick it up very slowly.
Right.
And
we did last night too.
Yes, and with a much bigger crowd.
Yeah.
Wow. On the 1st of January this year, so 11 months ago, actually we only had about 200 people doing it in Central. And the protesters last night, they learned it from what we've done.
Repeated the tactics.
Yes,
yeah.
and it was wonderful. And actually, you can see that actually the police, somebody told me actually they put about like 2,000 or 3,000 of police force.
Some said 7,000 as a rotation.
Oh yes, they need that, but then they don't have 7,000.
No, at the same time. No, you're right. Yeah,
but probably 3,000, 4,000 in Hong Kong.
Right.
And if the protesters keep doing that, I don't know how they can manage it, because in the past during the occupation, they only need about 100 police.
Right.
On the junctions and everything, which was very peaceful. Now they need 3,000 every night, or at least on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
So how can they cope with this kind of stuff? I don't know.
It's a matter of just cat and mouse, and who can outlast who.
I think tactic-wise, and is a better tactics now, because when you occupy somewhere, then you have to defend it.
Yes.
But now you are more on the side that you initiate thing. You have the police are the one who have to defend Mong Kok now.
Yes, they have to
now
defend,
the protester can move to, like last night, Friday night, they move to Tsim Sha Tsui, and they go back from Tsim Sha Tsui and to Mong Kok, Tsim Sha Tsui.
Yeah, exactly. We had this game plan before the whole occupation. Actually, the police is occupying Hong Kong.
Right.
Well,
this is exactly what they're doing, which is good.
Then you saw the police actual action,
Okay,
and all that, the nonsense that a handful of cops, good handful of cops, were doing those couple of nights against journalists, against people just walking by. What was your thoughts on what you saw?
This is horrible. I've never seen Hong Kong like this. Now, I've heard that back in 1967, when none of us were born, the Communist Party were staging some kind of protest against the British government in Hong Kong, and back then the police was also very violent.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But back then they were using bombings. There were bombings.
You're right. You're right. Actually,
there was real violence coming from the other side. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Well, whereas this time round, this occupation,
umbrellas.
No glasses were broken. Basically, all the umbrellas, and also the police using batons to hit people. Yeah. The people are not actually protesting against anything.
No, they're just walking by.
They're just walking by.
Yeah,
I mean,
we ran that clip earlier. And
so this is horrible. You're right, actually. Well, even if we're comparing against the police force used back in 1967,
right.
This time around it was even more horrible.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at, well, maybe they had some point of using more aggressive tactics in the 60s because there were bombings, there was literally, there were people killed. I mean, there was real violence then. And now, what is there? What is it now? Umbrellas and some talking?
Talking, talking and actually just walking in Mongkok, which
could get you a baton.
And where everybody does every single day, walking in Mongkok.
Yeah.
I mean, so
there should be warning signs saying you might get nailed by the police if you're walking through Mongkok.
I mean, if the police want, they actually in the past few days, the police did advise people not to go to Mongkok. I mean, if they want people not to go to Mongkok, then have a curfew. And why not?
But they dare not to have a curfew.
Then we're really in a police state.
In Hong Kong. I haven't seen a curfew in Hong Kong in my lifetime.
No,
there haven't been a curfew in Hong Kong.
Decades.
I thought for decades, definitely more than 40, 50 years. And actually, our chief executive, CHRISTOPER Leung, he asked people to go to Mongkok to shop.
Yeah. But then the cops are saying stay home.
You're right, yeah, remember that? And actually, there were some reportings today that actually the shop owners are complaining. Because during the occupation, actually, it was business as usual.
Right.
Some say actually more people were coming to Hong Kong. Now, for the past few days,
it's been horrible.
Everybody are closing their shops, starting from like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, in the evening, which is actually the busiest hours in Hong Kong. And if this kind of Gao shopping kind of protest, kind of fluid protest keep going on, and 3,000 policemen are occupying Mongkok.
Who are not shopping.
Yeah, during weekends, during the busiest days on during the week for the next few weeks, I think the shop owners will be, they will go
pissed.
They will be not only pissed, I mean, they will be crazy. Because, I mean, they will be losing money. And actually, it is not because the protesters, they have to close the shops. It's because the police force, excessive police, the presence of police,
is ridiculous.
That makes them to close the shops.
But this is a political issue, not solved by political, political ways. Instead, they're using the police as their political tactic. But what should the government response be, in your opinion, to really end?
Well, in my opinion,
other than retracting the MPC decision,
yeah, of course, that is our
could
demand,
be that is the ultimate goal, no doubt. But what could be something as a compromise? All right, we'll move back out of this area.
Well, honestly,
now it's your turn.
Honestly, actually, the talk, I mean, between the government and the students, they should have a second round of talks. At least, and actually soothe all the protesters' sort of anger. But Carrie Lam, like a week before the clearance, said, okay, there's no common ground to talk anymore. I mean, just basically, she was setting the stage of clearance. So, and now we have this kind of fluid protest, and I don't think they have any way to tackle it. So basically, at least, the least they should have done is actually to start the second round of talks with the students. Of course, better yet, is actually to have the police chief to resign. Honestly, in a democratic country or democratic city, with the excessive use of violence, tear gas, which is unnecessary, well, the immediate response from the government, quite simply, would be the resignation of the police chief. But no, but they're not doing it. So far, from the protesters' point of view, we have achieved nothing, absolutely nothing. The government has yielded nothing at all. So that's why, or they would not want to leave Mongkok. Even they had to leave reluctantly. They would find ways to protest against the government because they have achieved nothing. But
would you see that the protesters still have the willpower to go on like this every night for the coming months? I mean,
well, that's true. That's true. So I think I would suggest them actually only do it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because they're the busiest days. Because everybody's on leave, and then you can play around in Mongkok past midnight to 4 or 5 in the morning. they don't have to do it on every single day because the protesters will be tired as well.
Right.
But every single week, the police, they can. Well, you said that they have 7,000 people on rotation. But then if there's every single week on Friday, Saturday, not even Sunday, Friday, Saturday, I don't know how they can cope with that.
But it seems that the government doesn't care. They're like, yeah, we'll just wait them out.
Yes, yeah, probably that's the tactic. Again, I think probably they would just let them play for a few weeks again.
Right. It's also quite cruel to the police as well.
Actually, so I think it comes to a crucial point now. Actually, this is actually quite unfortunate because the protesters are not really organized. But if the protesters are organized, then if the willpower is big enough to sustain this kind of tactic for like 2 months. To tire down the police force. I mean, if the police, there's some sort of internal. I've heard actually there are a lot of internal disputes within the police force already. If we can tire the police force out, then actually the government has no other way.
We've said that we should continue to engage the police peacefully and win the information war with them because we don't want to make enemies of the police. We want them to be our friends.
Kind of engagement, but also kind of tiring them down. I think
it's peaceful. It's not like we're tiring them down by beating them.
Of course,
stand around for 12 hours every night.
I'm suggesting people to do, actually, because next week will be December, they should start doing Christmas carols in Nathan Road.
That's a good way to drown out some other character.
2,000 people doing Christmas carols. Why?
That's a great idea.
Right? So
get into the festive mood during the protests. Why not? You just said that the big problem is that there's disorganization. There's a lot of infighting as well.
Yes, a lot of infighting. I've experienced
from
it
what
myself.
what I've read on social media and everything. I mean, even groups like People Power and Civic Passion are having disputes.
Yeah.
Didn't that just happen a couple of days ago?
Yes, a couple of days ago, just the day before the clearance.
Why? I mean,
well, I don't know why. I don't know why. We were not having any.
In Mong Kok, one side is People Power and the other side is Civic Passion, and it seems like quite peaceful all along. And
and then all of a sudden.
I don't know why. We're not attacking people.
It doesn't help the cause.
It doesn't help at all. I mean, People Power, honestly, we had the reputation of attacking people, attacking Democrats.
Right.
Of course, out of very good reasons. But during this whole movement, we have been sort of lying low. People have been lying low because we believe that actually, although we have big disagreements with the Pen Democrats, that they're not doing enough, especially within the electoral. I mean, starting the filibuster vigorously, they should have done that. We have huge disagreements with the Occupy Central organizers, Benny Tai.
The original
and also, we do not quite agree with the organization in Admiralty. I totally admit that actually, but we have been lying low because we do not want to attack anyone because we believe this time round unity is more important than anything else.
Because a divide and conquer can actually be advantageous to the pro-establishment for the government. If Civic Passion's fighting with People Power, great. If the Occupy is fighting with the students are fighting with Civic Party, great. I mean, it's great to have this divide and conquer strategy. But then if the other side, Civic Passion, let's say, is starting an argument, just be like, forget it. Just don't worry about it. We can deal with this later.
Well, okay, that's what we have been doing. The day before the clearance, we just let them yell and shout outside our tents. We just ignore them. Of course, our supporters. We have quite a lot of supporters on the next day. Just ran into our tents and shout back. But this is
it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. So I don't understand. I mean, the whole point. I mean, let's leave Civic Passion aside because I have fundamental disagreements with the organizers of Civic Passion. But there are actually some sort of more radical protesters in the occupying sites that they seem everything. They just don't like everyone.
You mean other than civic
other than
it's more radical,
actually,
apparently. I mean, is that even possible?
Yeah, they just don't like
then it's just anarchists. Right at there.
You're right.
Then it's just anarchists.
That is anarchists. Yeah. And when we have been trying to embrace them all along in Mong Kok. But yeah, unfortunately, when someone, I'm not saying it was civic passion, although I think it is, that actually they sort of stir up some disagreements.
Yeah, some people just want to break stuff and
and then the anarchies sort of instinct just came out, and it's just yell at anyone they can yell at. But yeah, honestly, there are only about 150 of these people, though.
So, it's a very small fringe.
It's a very small fringe. And so it's only a day or two, and it just blow over.
Problem is, the pro-establishment seems to focus on that fringe, saying that is the entire movement.
I can tell you on that particular night that we had some big disputes outside our tents with the anarchists and civil passion and all these people. Right. There were definitely some blue ribbons people
stirring it up.
Yeah, of course. This is what they do. I mean, this is what they want to have. I mean, some argument.
But I wouldn't go so far to say that the civic passion they are part of the blue ribbon.
No.
I don't think they are.
Okay,
that's not what he's saying, I think.
Well, it depends. Okay, so I think they what I am accusing them is actually they were doing what the blue ribbons people are doing.
But they're not. They're not
actually blue ribbons.
Yeah, but we can have some philosophical discussion of who belongs to blue ribbon. I mean, but it doesn't matter. Yeah,
all right, we just got to bang through these questions because we're running out of time. Pan-Democrats have said they'll limit their filibustering. People Power says we're not.
We're not. We have been doing everything. Albert Chen, Ray Chen. We have been doing it in the Finance Committee, and with long hair, and also Gary Fan. And actually, we have been blocking some stuff, and the government has been backing off on a few bills, and we will keep doing that. But the point is actually, why shouldn't we have? Why aren't we having 27 Democratic legislators doing the filibuster at the same time? If all of them are doing that, it would be very powerful, and the government must I don't know, they need to talk to us.
But will People Power still continue to work with the other Democrats?
All right, that's good. That.
And a final question: has the Occupy movement lost the public support?
It has lost public support for about 5-10% since the peak of the movement. But if you look at it on the bright side, actually, before the before the movement, there was only about 20 to 25% of public support of the movement. Now we're still standing quite firmly at 30 to 35%.
All right. And what should the next step be to end this?
Should we be ending this?
I think you said it, that there should be a second meeting.
There should be talks, and actually the Pan-Democrats, or the Democrats, should start some more protests within LASCO. And so there is a sort of a whole range of disobedience, or a whole range of protests should be going on until we get something. At least we get them to talk.
Right.
Otherwise, just asking people to leave, or why don't you guys just leave first, and take a shower and wait for a month and see what happens. Right. I don't think this is helping, honestly, because why this is not helping? Because first of all, those who suggest this kind of tactic, you should provide us. You have the obligation to tell the public what is the next step. Okay, this is and they don't have the next step, and why are we wasting the sort of our support now? I mean, so let's keep it going on, because for the past 17 years or even 30 years, our protests, our sort of civil peace movements, they have always been peaceful, but then they've always been yielding very little.
But this is now peaceful, but with more aggression. Yes. Say, yeah.
Yeah, and then with more determination. Finally, we may not have the half of the Hong Kong people supporting the movement, but if we have 30% of people supporting our movement with a strong determination, it is more important.
All right. Well, thank you, Christopher Lau, for coming on our show.
Thank you.
And our final thing that we do on this show is give our Shame on You award.
Oh, okay.
And we have nominated
Franklin Chu.
Yeah, the baton-wielding police officer that was caught on video.
Yeah.
The superintendent in Sha Tin, I think.
In Sha Tin, yeah. Wow. Franklin Chu, you have been nominated. I nominate Carrie Lam for keeping silent.
Yeah.
That's Carrie Lam. So, but you know what?
We have to vote.
No, I say it's Franklin Chu. It has to be.
Yeah,
I mean, that was just wrong. What was on what he did to just passerbys.
Yeah.
You know. So Franklin Chu, congratulations! You have just received the
shame on you
award. And
I like this.
Since you're retiring, that can be your final award before you retire. And thank you so much for Mimi HK for the opportunity to use their facilities, and that should be on their YouTube page. Please share our videos, and you can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/IONHKpod, twitter.com/IONHKpod. And we'll be back next week again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.